Everyone, it's good to see you all, and thank you for coming. During the time when Barbara mentioned some retreats programs at Bodhi Center, I wanted to remind you that some retreats are in Chinese, and many retreats are in English. So from time to time, just go and check the bulletin. There are schedules there for you, and you may arrange your time and to participate some of the programs in English. And also, basically, in my understanding, in my knowledge, the Bodhi Center only charge fees for two programs. One is a summer camp for local students. Another summer camp for students from overseas, China or Taiwan. Only these two programs, we do have fee for that. The rest are free. So any one of you, you wanted to donate any amount of money is welcome. Otherwise, you just go and participate. You don't have to worry about the fee. Okay. And this one thing, okay, I wanted to remind you. I hope that every year you are going to arrange a schedule to go to Bodhi Center, enjoy the retreat, also enjoy the environment. A while ago, when I talked to Barbara, before I came to Guanyin Hall, she said, Venerable, how could you wear this robe in this summer time? Don't you feel hot? I said, physically, I do feel hot. But mentally, I learned to accept the heat in Houston, in Texas. In 1990, right after we finished the grand opening ceremony for the temple, I was so tired, and I need a place to rest myself without seeing people. And so I accept an invitation from San Francisco. Venerable Dachun, and they invited me to go to their temple in San Francisco. I stay in the place where they call it sunset. Do you know, over here in the summertime, it's 90 or 100. Over there, 50s, 60s, all the time. The first few days, I felt so wonderful. Oh, I escaped from the heat, finally. But after you stay in the sunset area, the cool temperature stays there all the time. And it always feels cool and cold, finally. So after 1 week, I slowly noticed that I couldn't sweat. You know, sometimes I feel I wanted to exercise. But when you go to the park, it's very windy, also very cold. There's no chance for me to sweat. After a week, you slowly feel it's better in Houston. Actually, over here, if you wanted to be cool, you stay in a room. We have air conditions around. If you wanted to sweat, you don't have to go to steam room, just go out. You are going to sweat right away. It's good for your health. After so many days without sweat, actually it's not good for the health. So I lived in Houston for about 37 years, long time. And I enjoyed the heat. And also mentally, we train ourselves to wear this kind of a robe whenever the weather is cold or hot. Yes. And okay, that's it. I have to finish my talk before 11:20. Okay. Today, let me directly invite you to read. Do we have copies?
Does anyone not have a copy? Yeah. Okay. If I can answer, or if you can take care of this.
Yeah, please pass those copies. And let's save some time. So allow me to read the 7th realization. Today we are going to continue to study the Sutra on the 8 realizations. And this sutra being translated by Venerable Tina Han. He's a monk who teaches the Dharma in France right now. But he's very old today. Yeah, he speaks very good English. So long time ago, he's always regularly visiting the States, presenting Dharma talks around the States. And he did a lot of translation from Chinese or from Vietnamese into English. This is one of the sutra translated by Venerable Tina Han. If you have copies, let's take a look at the bottom. Let's read the seventh realization. Today I'm going to read this realization myself. The seventh realization is that the 5 categories of desires all lead to difficulties. Although we are in the world, we should try not to be caught up in worldly matters. A monk, for example, has in his possessions only 3 robes and 1 bowl. He lives simply in order to practice the way. His precepts keep him above attachment to worldly things, and he treats everyone equally and with compassion. After I carefully read this paragraph, then compare his translation with Chinese sutra, I discovered that some are different. That means some of the translation according to Chinese sutras on 8 realizations, there are certain meanings being missed by his translation. For example, the word, the 5 categories of desires all lead to difficulties. But actually, in Chinese translation, it says in this way: 5 desires, or 5 categories of desires, will produce ill consequences or ill effects. When we say difficulties, sometimes it may not be always ill, something you need to accomplish. Okay, today it's a little difficult for me to speak English because my English is still not that good. Even it's difficult, but I wanted to overcome this difficulty, okay, based on certain kind of effort. So we don't consider this difficulty is produced by those 5 categories of desires. Later I'm going to explain there are 2 kinds of desires, okay? And also follow this sentence: although we are in the world, according to Chinese translation, about 2,000 years ago in China, it says, even though a layperson who's not monk, who's not nun, okay, even though a layperson living in this world, he should or she should try not to attach to worldly luxury attachment. Yes. Yeah. Even though a layperson, actually in Chinese translation, it is mentioned that even though a layperson should not attach to worldly luxuries, okay, according to his or her desires. Okay. So that was the original translation. So every time when I speak to Chinese members about this sutra, actually I mention this part to all lay Buddhists. For 7th realization, Buddha talked to lay Buddhists, emphasize on how you are going to lead your life without less impure desires. Okay, that was the original concept. And as a layperson, you are not a monk, you are not a nun, but you always contemplate on simple life, like monks or nuns. Possess 3 robes, 1 bowl in daily life. Okay, maybe some simple artificial materials. So that was the original translation. Okay, let me repeat this in this way, then you are going to understand this paragraph, the 7th realization, mainly talking to lay Buddhists. Okay, today let's talk about those 5 categories of desires can produce ill effects or ill consequence. How do you feel about this teaching? If you have a chance to check on all kinds of news, on TV channels, you are going to discover that every time when you watch news, maybe 80% of the news, 90% of the news are related with all kinds of desires. Because of all those desires developing in different way, make people break 5 precepts. Can you, observe that actually nowadays, sometimes when I turn on the news, a lot of the news are related with killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, intoxication. Those are based on all kinds of desires. So if we cannot manage, we cannot control those desires, then we are going to produce ill effects or ill consequence. Right now, I wanted to ask you, can you remember those 5 desires? Okay, let's think, because I think in previous talk, I did mention there are 5 desires in 2 kinds of explanation. Okay, maybe another 2 categories. One category is very traditional way to explain what are those 5 desires. It simply means things we wanted to see, sounds we wanted to hear. Okay, those kind of phenomena. Something we wanted to see, something we wanted to hear, something we wanted to smell, something we wanted to taste, something we wanted to feel. I feel this cushion is so comfortable. If I attach to this cushion, then I develop desires in this way. So according to our senses, organ senses, automatically we wanted to go out, search for those things we call 5 desires. I wanted to have those things around me in order to satisfy my needs. This is one way to explain 5 desires. Another way is in this way. Another way is different. Another way may be easier for us to understand. What are those 5 desires? The craving on wealth. The craving on wealth. I have, so much money. I have so much property, but I'm still wanting to gain more. Craving on wealth. Craving on lust. L-U-S-T. Craving on lust. Some people, they just feel not enough. Yeah. And craving on fame. Craving on fame. I wanted to be famous. And craving on food, and finally craving on sleep. Actually, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh translated this desire into laziness. I wanted to rest all the time. I don't want it to work. Okay, you feel, sleeping is good. I don't want it to get up. Yeah. I don't want it to go to work. Craving on laziness. Sometimes we say sleep. Okay. I remember that in 1978, I went to North California and stayed in a monastery for 2 months. And over there, they require all monks only eat 1 meal a day. At noon, you have 1 meal. Before that, you didn't eat anything. After that, you are not going to eat anything. 1 meal a day. When I arrived at the temple, I did talk to the abbot. I said, 1 meal a day is difficult for my stomach. Can I have 2 meals a day? 1 breakfast first and 1 lunch. No evening meal. He said, okay, I will let you have 2 meals a day. One day at lunch, I saw a monk who took this big of cheese. At first, I didn't notice that it was cheese. I thought that is mantou. What do you say in mantou in English? Bun. Okay, bun. Because it's white, it's a round shape. Oh, I thought that is bun. I said I wanted to have 1 bun. No, there's a cheese, no bun. Oh, that is cheese. Okay, then I slowly learned cheese is very rich. Okay. Then I saw this monk also took half load of the bread and 1 big container for other food. 1 big container, half load of the bread, 1 big piece of cheese. I was very surprised. How could he, eat those food at one time? So he slowly ate everything. Then I said, how he's going to digest the food? Unfortunately, after the meal, he didn't show up for lunch for 3 days. I asked him one day, I said, what happened to you? Oh, my stomach was very uncomfortable after the meal 3 days ago. So too much eating, too much food, craving on food. Sometimes I don't suggest people to have 1 meal a day because when you are hungry, you have more greed on food. You want to eat more. You're afraid that in the evening I'm not going to have any chance to eat. So I better to eat more as much as I could. Actually, that is a kind of greed or craving, phenomenon. So craving on those 5 desires, if you can control yourself, most of the time it's okay. Okay, I wanted to eat some food. Actually, it's good for you. But if you eat a lot over what you need, then probably it's going to produce ill consequence. That's why we call these kinds of desires impure desires. Impure. So in Buddhism, there are 2 kinds of desires. One is pure desire or wholesome desire. Another kind is impure desire, because these kind of desires are mixed. Sometimes if you manage it properly, it will be okay. If you cannot control your greed or craving on those desires, then it's going to produce troubles in the future. So one impure, one is pure or wholesome desires. What are wholesome desires? What are those pure desires? Can you imagine? Actually, today you are coming to the temple. I wanted to participate meditation program. I wanted to practice meditation this morning. we consider this is wholesome desire. As a monk, today I have English Dharma talk. I wanted to present a talk to you and use my understanding to share everything with you. I wish all of you can understand the teaching of Buddha. This is a wholesome desire. Okay, so anytime when you feel I wanted to accomplish something, I wanted to do something, check in your mind, is wholesome desire or unwholesome desire. Anything related with Eightfold Path, those are wholesome desires. Anything related with 6 paramitas, those are bodhisattva practices. Those are wholesome, pure desires. So in America, sometimes when we read articles, when we read magazines, we always say that in Buddhism, we wanted to eradicate all kinds of desires. It's not that clear for a lot of people. If I eradicate all kinds of desires, what I'm here for? What are the goal for us to practice the Dharma? So today it's a time for us to remember that according to Buddha's teaching, we have 2 kinds of desires. One is impure. We wanted to manage, we wanted to control those desires. Another one is pure desires. Okay. Have you heard that not long ago, maybe 2 months or 3 months ago, a young couple in America, they have video shows in the through the internet, and those shows are very unusual, very dangerous. They slowly discover so many people try to click on their channel to see what they are doing recently, and so many viewers, and they discover 30,000 viewers, 500,000 viewers. They feel they are famous. They are getting more and more famous. Finally, they wanted to do something very unusual, very dangerous. This young man asked his girlfriend, "Please shoot me this way. I'm going to use a book, maybe a dictionary, which is pretty thick. Okay, so you carry the gun in front of me and shoot me straight through this book." And all cameras around, they wanted to demonstrate this kind of action live, through cameras, through internets. This young man thought he will be okay. He should be saved. But somehow the bullet went through the book, killed this young person. They wanted to gain fame. They wanted to be famous. Sometimes it's out of control. So this will produce ill effects, and even lost his life. So that's why Buddha said all negative, impure desires will lead to ill consequence or negative effects. And also I wanted to mention something. Do you all have iPhones? Yeah. Today I discover everywhere I go, people always looking on the iPhone, walking in the hall, even in the pool. Because my low back pain problem, doctor told me, go and swimming. I was afraid of water a long time ago, but somehow I learned how to swim. So I do find a time to go to a place to swim. One day I was swimming, a lady was walking in the water, holding the phone. Oh, it's non-stop. At the moment, I thought maybe you should relax yourself and put down your iPhone for a short time, rest your mind. but somehow we all attach to the phone. It's a new phenomenon. It's very interesting. So recently I'm trying to write another article about iPhone. Even myself, after I had some tea, after I finished my morning practice, I'm going to pick up the phone, see what kind of news that I'm going to read for some time. I try to control, try to manage. So when you call me, when you text to me, I'm going to have a certain schedule to answer those text messages, not all the time, because I feel iPhone is very convenient. Today I don't have to talk to people on the phone all the time. I just find the time to check on the message, then answer them. Yeah. But I still wanted to have a schedule for that, not all the time. Yeah. Okay, today I wanted to use this opportunity. How can we reduce, how can we eradicate our impure desires? How can we reduce, how can we eradicate our impure desires? Have you ever think about this question? Because every day after we wake up, actually we always feel, I wanted to do this, I need to have that. We always wanting something. We wanted to accomplish something. So the mind is full of desires. First, we wanted to check that these desires are wholesome. If those are wholesome, you wanted to maintain those wholesome desires as a motivation for you to improve yourself. How about we discover some desires are impure desires? At the moment, it's time for you to help yourself, to manage yourself, okay? To do something for yourself. I feel if you have a chance to go to a certain place, like a Bodhi center, and live in simple environment, everything you use is not belongs to you, okay? And we have a simple food, simple schedule there. You don't want to relate yourself with all kinds of other programs. Find a place to simplify your lifestyle. That's why retreat is very essential for us. Find a time to go to a certain place, leave your home, simplify your life, simplify your mind, and also carefully check. A lot of desires actually is not necessary. And also, we have more desires, impure desires. We have more burden in our daily life. Yes. Okay, go to a place, simplify your lifestyle. The second way, the second solution is we have to enhance our meditation. Because according to Buddha's teaching, also according to my own experience, I feel if you have the joy of samadhi, if you have the joy of concentration or mindfulness, you are going to automatically reduce your impure desires. Because when you have the joy of meditation, the joy of concentration, the joy of samadhi, you are satisfied. In your mind, all the time, you feel, I'm joyful. Why we have all kinds of impure desires, we still have the same kind of feeling. I need to be content. I wanted to be satisfied. In order to satisfy yourself, your desire, you are doing a lot of things to satisfy you. But the more we ask, the more desire we are going to create. So it's not a solution. But somehow, after you have the joy of a samadhi. Samadhi is a Sanskrit word. Actually, it means deep concentration. The joy of a samadhi. Sometimes concentration, mindfulness. It's not easy to explain, the concept, the stage of samadhi. Samadhi is a very peaceful mental stage. You are able to focus your mind, and also you feel your body is light and also comfort, enjoyable. When people have those kind of experiences, be able to concentrate, and also there's a joy inside you. You feel you can smile all the time. When you see people, you feel, oh, those people are my good friends. In that kind of a stage, you have enjoyment about this kind of a feeling. So you are going to have less impure desires automatically, because you feel, I'm satisfied. Okay, I'm joyful. I don't have to depend on other materials, other environment, other phenomena to satisfy my needs. So this is another way. Also, this is the fundamental way. When I was 17, I went to Lianyin Buddhist Temple in Taiwan. Perhaps because we follow the original schedule of the temple, we meditate a few times a day. Every time we meditate about 2 hours. Also, we do the prostration, bowing prostration, in order to exercise our body. And we prostrate 300 times a day, sometimes, 300 times a day. And after a few days, I discovered that during the sitting meditation, one day I noticed that my leg, after 1 hour, I still felt a little sore and also not comfortable around this area. But somehow you feel, I noticed this kind of uncomfortable feeling around my leg, but it's not my leg anymore. I noticed the feeling, but somehow your mind is so stable. You feel, I noticed that, but I'm not receiving the pain at all. There is one experience during sitting meditation. After a few more days, during sitting meditation, suddenly I noticed that, am I still here? That means the whole body is light. You don't have the kind of heaviness around you. You feel the whole body is disappeared. Yeah. Then I was so young, 70 years old. Then I thought, where am I? And I wanted to check, am I still in the hall, the Buddha hall? So I slowly opened my eyes, look up to the Buddha statue. Yes, I'm still here. So from time to time, I did check, where am I? Because you feel you don't know where you are in the sitting meditation. After I had that kind of experiences, then I feel that the whole body was so joyful. Even I'm washing the vegetables, cleaning the floor, washing the bathroom, and everything I do, I feel that it's enjoyable. It's so happy. And when I say I need to sleep, when you touch your pillow, you went to sleep. If I told myself, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, then at 3 you are going to wake up on time. You don't need a clock. That experience was the first time I experienced real experience of myself. Then after about 2 months, I left the temple, the temple in the mountain, back to the school. Even in the school, I still maintain that kind of a feeling. You feel very joyful every day, and you feel life is wonderful. Everything you see is so, friendly. All people are friendly. After about another 2 months, I slowly losing this kind of a feeling. Slowly losing, little by little, a little by little. So sometimes gaining certain experience will enhance your understanding on the practice. Also, that will influence your whole life because of that experience. So I made a vow. I wanted to become a monk forever. I wanted to be a monk for the rest of my life. And also I feel maintaining a simple life is the best way. Even today in the States, we can have everything we want, but I still try to limit. Yeah. Even this refrigerator is, over 20 years, close to 30 years, but it's still working. It's okay. People will say, Venerable Hangyi, let me offer you a new refrigerator. What am I do to this old one? So sometimes eliminate your desires. You don't have to follow all those kind of necessities to make you feel busy, always changing yourself. So the joy of meditation is a way to reduce impure desires. This is going to adjust by yourself automatically. So that's why so many monks and nuns or lay Buddhists, after they attain certain degree of meditation, suddenly they see a lot of desires. It's not necessary. So this is one fundamental way. All right, let's cherish some time. After that, Buddha said, a lay person who should always contemplate on simple life as monks, nuns, and possess 3 robes, 1 bowl, and some other possessions. And in this way, we're going to create a kind of a feeling that we are easier to satisfy ourselves. Okay, if you don't feel that, please find a time to go to some place, where it's very simple, not air conditioning system and no vehicles. You have to walk, for a long distance. If we stay there for some time and contemplate on the environment, when you're back to the stage, we are very fortunate. I don't have to ask too much. That's already too much. Okay. And finally, let's read the last sentence. His precepts keep him above attachment to worldly things. So there are precepts for monks, nuns to follow, and also for lay Buddhists to follow. Okay, and we wanted to observe those precepts in order to keep ourselves above attachment to worldly things. And he treats everyone equally and with compassion. So this is Venerable Tina Han's translation. According to the Chinese translation, it says, this practitioner, this lay person, should practice loving kindness and compassion. Should use loving kindness or compassion toward others. So there's another word, loving kindness and compassion. Okay. So over here, it says treats everyone equally. That's important, but with compassion. But at the same time, I wanted to mention that in Chinese translation, it includes loving kindness, compassion, and loving kindness. Do you know the meaning of compassion and loving kindness? Sometimes we wanted to identify the meaning of it. Loving kindness, in Buddhism, we say, share your happiness with others. So when you say, I wanted to be kind to others, first, you have to be happy by yourself. You have to be happy. If you are not a happy person, you cannot share your loving kindness. You cannot be kind to others. So be able to be joyful and happy in order to practice loving kindness. Compassion is in different way. Compassion means we feel empathy toward some people who are facing difficulties or sufferings. Okay, a person who is very ill, just like okay, last Sunday, 2 young ladies came to the temple in the afternoon. Last Saturday, they came to me, and actually, I didn't see them very often, okay, around the temple. After I met them, I talked to them, I noticed that their mother was one volunteer of the temple in the kitchen. The mother is around maybe 80 years old. She used to be a volunteer in the kitchen at the temple. Now she's very ill, and I stay in a nursing home in Dallas. These 2 young ladies came to me and told me about the mother's condition, and also expressing that how the mother loves the temple. Even she's ill in bed, she always mentioning the temple, mentioning about monk, that she talked to me, every time when I see her around here. So she's in Dallas. She's not able to come to Jade Buddha Temple anymore. So after I talked to these 2 young ladies, then I thought for a while, and I asked myself, what should I do? What should I do? Actually, after Sunday, I was very tired. Somehow I had a heat stroke around my body. I feel not comfortable. So I rest myself on Monday. Then Tuesday, I decided to go to Dallas. I wanted to use this opportunity to visit this old lady in Dallas, to pay respect, also to show my appreciation on behalf of the temple. She used to serve, over here for more than 10 years. Now it's time for me to see her myself, talk to her, and also pray for her. So I went to Dallas on Tuesday. So sometimes I feel in order to show our loving kindness and compassion, you have to be healthy, also you have to be happy. You are able to express this. And also be considerate, be considerate. I was in struggle. Should I go to Dallas? It's pretty far. We have to drive 4.5 hours in order to reach the place. But be considerate. Think about what they need at this moment. Think about the lady, thinking the temple all the time. So sometimes I wanted to, teach myself. Sometimes maybe I still have a kind of the laziness happened to me. Oh, maybe I should rest. But when I have this kind of feeling, be considerate. Right now, it's important for me to talk to this lady. Then I encourage myself to go to Dallas, show compassion to this lady. So there are many ways for us to show our loving kindness and compassion. One is be considerate. Also, another way is be able to smile all the time to people. When you see people around you. And the most, gift that we can offer and easily in daily life is smile. Out of my room, I remind myself, smile to everyone. That will make you happy, make yourself happy. Because there are 300 nerves around your face. If you smile, you are going to relax those nerves automatically. When you relax your nerves around your face, over here you feel happy. Smile. Smile, that will make your life wonderful. And also, be able to forgive others. Be able to forgive others. Especially when you drive on the road. Even myself, someone just, in a rush, drive their way, cut you off, and okay, they don't control their speed. Be able to forgive because you don't know the person. You don't know who is driving. Actually, you don't know. But as a human being, we have that kind of feeling, I'm not satisfied. So when you feel you are not satisfied, that is the roots of greed and anger. When you are not satisfied. Unsatisfaction factory and satisfactory experience, actually they will accumulate greed, anger. That will accumulate anger. Okay. So on the road, we wanted to be safe, and also we wanted to use the environment to enhance our practice. Be able to forgive other drivers. Probably it's good, for you and for everyone. Yeah, because I saw some fighting on the road, and they don't know. They didn't know each other, but they feel very angry with each other. Yeah, and it's not necessary to create those kind of feelings. Finally, always share something you have with others. In the summertime, when you have a bottle of water, do you want to share half with others? They will, good. Be able to share things with others. They will accumulate good friendships. Good relationships with others. Be able to share. All of us over here, if I ask you, do you want to have a friend who's very stingy, who's very selfish? Normally we say, no, this kind of person is difficult to deal with it. So let's be generous. Okay, let's share things with others and support others in many ways. When we talk about sharing, you share your materials, your wealth. Also, you share your knowledges and wisdom. Okay, you share your experiences. Okay, also you share your effort to be able to protect others, comfort others. So there are many ways of sharing. Okay. Thank you so much. And today, we discussed this paragraph. Up to this moment, we have 10 minutes left. Do you have anything to ask me today, or any comments about today's talk?